All right, a happy Thursday. Probably one of the greatest sports days of the year when you're looking at NBA playoffs and the NFL draft. And for you baseball lovers out there, we've got some MLB. We are going to do, I believe this is the 8th video of the off-season videos. You can read about all 14 teams online. We will probably add some teams in the near future. Maybe Phoenix, maybe Orlando, maybe New Orleans. We haven't started on a Celtic offseason. I don't think we're quite there yet. But we're going to do a video on the Portland Trailblazers. I'm holding off on teams like Charlotte and the Wizards until they hire a coach. I know some people want a Sacramento video, and we're going to get that out pretty soon also. But we're going to do a video on the Portland Trailblazers. 21-61. Okay. I would say, and Joe Cronin, their general manager, when he gave their offseason State of the Union, how do you evaluate Portland? They're in this in-between phase as far as post-Damian Lillard. They've got a group of veterans on their roster with Jeremy Grant, DeAndre Ayton, Malcolm Brogdon. Robert Williams was hurt this year. Shaedon Sharpe, one of their younger players, missed most of this year. It was such an uneven year. And Joe hit it right on the head. He's like, how do you evaluate when there's not enough data as far as whether it be lineups? 40 different lineups that Chauncey Billups, their head coach, was forced to use, the most that he's used since taking over in 2021. And we all knew that there was going to be some type of growing pains here, especially after you move your franchise player. I don't think you were expecting 21 wins. I think I've seen Chauncey say that he thought this group could certainly compete for a play-in spot. That's maybe a little bit of a reach. Your state of the roster is you've got to kind of figure out what direction you're going to go with some of these veterans here. You've got 14 players under contract, and you've got 4 draft picks. You've got the 4th pick, which is a 13.2% chance of being number 1. 14th pick, which is from Golden State, that is top 4 protected. And then you've got 2 pretty good picks in the second round, either 33 or 34, which is can be equivalent to a late first. And then you've got the 40th pick, which is from Atlanta. Now here's the problem. Can your roster handle 4 more draft picks when you already got 14 players under contract next year? Certainly you could say, the 2 seconds could be 2-way guys, and then maybe you add 2 lottery picks here, and yes, you can handle it here. But how much more younger are you willing to go here? That's going to be a late June decision. Certainly we'll get through the pre-draft camp as far as figuring out, maybe it does, can you move 4 and 14 to 2 if you see something there? Do you move 14 and get out of the first round completely? Maybe you pick up something down the road. Maybe you flip it to Brooklyn. Brooklyn doesn't have a first round pick for one of the Nets' first round picks. Certainly that's some of your options that you're going to have to do. So your state of the roster is, I would say it's uneven. It's certainly far from being finished. I don't want to call it a wasted year, but I think you would like to see a lot more from what you could get when this group is healthy. Certainly Scoot's year was uneven. You did get some nice production from Jabari Walker and Tumani Kamara. Some of your former first-round picks. Duop Roth played certainly well to earn a contract. So how Scoot finished, I think you have to be encouraged by what you were able to see. What you saw with Shaedon Sharpe, there was certainly a significant drop before he got injured. He went from 47% to 40% this year. They're in as I said, Portland is in a position that no team wants to be in. The luxury tax and the first apron. Ayton, Brogdon, Jeremy Grant, Anthony Simons combined to earn 80% of the Trailblazers cap space. And you're probably wondering, like, how in the heck is that possible that Portland is a luxury tax in a first apron team? Here's how. Okay, you've got $159 million in salary. Okay, you've got $1.6 million in dead money, and you've got $6.1 million in non-guaranteed money. You've got about $14 million in first-round picks. Okay, you add all that up. Okay, with you add all that up, and you're at 167. You add the picks in there, you're right around 180. Okay, the luxury tax is 171. The first apron is 178. So you could enter the offseason as a first apron team. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't. I think there's going to be a move, whether it be a player like Jeremy Grant, who's got 4 years left at 29.8, 32, 34.2, 36.4. The Brogdon number, which is at 22.5. Does it make sense for a team like San Antonio that could have cap space to go out and get Brogdon as a kind of a one-year stopgap? Possibly. But I would expect where Portland is right now financially not to be in the same place when we're talking come sometime in mid-July, let's say. Your free agents are basically Moses Brown, Delano Banton's got a team option, Ibu Baji got is restricted two-way, Justin Minaya two-way is restricted free agent. So you've got a lot of guys coming back that are under contract. Walker and Kamara are non-guaranteed. Walker's $2 million. Both of those guys become guaranteed on July 20th. Walker, and we're going to jump to it right now. As we have extension candidates to watch. Brogdon, Robert Williams, and Simons and Ayton are four of those guys. And then I think if you're going to circle potential extension player, certainly Jabari Walker doubled his minutes, 23 minutes this year, averaged 9 points, 6.3 rebounds. Can you get him kind of on a cheap? What's on the cheap? In that $5 to $6 million range. Team needs is certainly shooting, ranked 30th in three-point percentage and last in effective field goal percentage. Front office priority, patience. I know it sounds great in the offseason, but when you're getting your doors beat in, you're 21-61. But as I said, Joe Cronin tipped his hand on the vision of the roster, saying, I want to give these guys a chance to grow and develop and not overly swing here in order to chase a playoff spot that's unrealistic or a playoff spot that's going to get us thumped right away. That's what he said at the trade deadline. And you are in this precarious position where you need to see, we can't be talking a year from now and you're 21-61 unless maybe you're getting the number one pick and you get Cooper Flagg, and then you've got to accelerate some of these other younger players, and you've got to accelerate the rebuild here. The Western Conference, as you know, is a bear. Portland's got the fourth youngest roster in the NBA this year, but you've got to figure out as far as what happens with your veterans, whether it be Brogdon, Simons, Grant, Williams, Jeremy Grant, Robert Williams, Ayton, Tybal, guys that are under contract. Williams certainly has value based on his contract. He's got 2 years left. Where is he health-wise? That's always the million-dollar question. Grant averaged a career high 21. I said he's got $133 million. So you've got that. You've got the young players that are coming in, potentially 2 lottery picks, to join Scoot, to join Shaedon Sharpe, to join Jabari Walker. And you've got that mix of the veteran group that the roster should be better than 21 wins. And I know there were some injuries here. They've slowly started to build back their equity. They are owed a first-round pick in 2029 from Boston, Milwaukee. They have right swaps with Milwaukee in 28 and 30. That's from the Lillard trade. They still owe Chicago top 14 protected first through 2028. You've got about six second-round picks available. All in all, it's like, I don't know if it's doom or gloom, but you're kind of like in this, like, you would have loved to get more out of this season. As Cronin said, you wanted more data to see what fits in this roster. Maybe Jeremy Grant does fit with the young kids here. Maybe Malcolm Brogdon, you hold on for another year. But I think you're at the point where I would love to see Scoot, given more of, as far as extended minutes. I think if you are going to draft a player with the third pick in the draft, it's got to be trial and error with him as far as he is going to make mistakes. What I didn't like during this year with how Scoot was handled, and I know there's a priority to win games, and there was a Brooklyn game this year in Brooklyn, the game Portland won in overtime. Like, put the kid out there in overtime. Let's see what he can do. Put him in crunch minutes. Let's see what he can do. You still only won 21 games this year. Throw him into the deep end, and let's see if he can swim. Throw him in the deep end. I know he had some injuries. Play him 35 to 40 minutes. If it's uneven, it's uneven, and you work on that in the offseason here. That's the only way he is going to get better here, and we will see. You get to a point, certainly, if you're the head coach and you're Chauncey Billups, and he's been there 3 years, you want results. You want to be a 32 to 34 win team. But on the other side, if you're the front office, you're thinking, wait a minute, we could potentially have a franchise level player on our roster next year, but we're going to have to wait another year and basically go through these lumps. But keep an eye on the veterans as far as what happens to them. I think you're going to see some movement. Keep an eye on what happens at the draft. As I said, 4 and 14. That is the state of the roster in Portland. We will talk soon.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Keep them going, try to wear, I pull up long range. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA over here,